Hey, what's up? Oh, damn, Dante messed up that river. Oh, alright, check it out, guys. This is What If Naruto dropped his facade and was slash fucking OP. Let's get directly into this. We have a smell. No, I ain't gonna do it first. I'm about to do not flashback at all. So what we about to do? We see basically Naruto stomping on Gato's head as he was crushed under his foot. Naruto had killed all of Gato's possible work associates, so he claimed himself to be next in line for the money. As he took it all, he then paid off basically Haku Zabazon Raymond. But we then go back towards Haku, Hakura, and Sasuke. I think I said Sakura. I mean trash, but yeah, I did say trash. Trash yelled out. Akuma no Genjutsu, she yelled out, as then everything around her began to swirl. As it began to viciously swirl, as Haku got dizzy. But he then smirked as he yelled out, "Ice spikes!" As then 13 spikes seemed to erupt from his hands as they shot towards the ground. He picked up a spike, then he flung it at speeds unknown as it then stabbed through. It stabbed through one of what they call her? What they call her? A foot. As it stabbed through one of Sakura's toes. Sakura bit back the pain and she disappeared as she yelled out while pumping her fists with chakra. "Chakra! Punch!" she yelled out, punching Haku as Haku smirked. As basically we then see Sakura looking at Haku as he smirked. His training with Zabuza and Master Raymond did him right. He had an ice mask on his face as it covered his mask. He was able to do certain jutsu that he had created and that he was using, that he could use to do them without hand signs, which allowed him to use this. As in, he cocked back his fist as he had a small, what they call him, in his hand, as he then stabbed Sakura in the stomach as it got bigger and bigger and bigger until it was a mighty spike protruding through her stomach. As Haku then smiled. As Sakura fell towards the ground, she had fell under his genjutsu, which we will be calling Ice Akuma no Ice Genjutsu, basically. No, Demon Ice Mirror no Genjutsu. No, Demon Ice no Genjutsu. Or Akuma Ice no Genjutsu. As Sakura fell towards the ground, she was knocked out. Then Sasuke looked over as he saw her dead. As Hakura then smiled as she punched Sasuke in the stomach. Then she lifted her leg up as she sent it flying down, sending basically Sasuke's head into the ground as her smirk grew larger. Ice no Genjutsu. As she used her Yuki clan Genjutsu, as she placed her hand over his head as ice began to encase it. 13 hours later. Well, no, 15 minutes later, both Sasuke and Sakura had woken up. One because he had the Sharingan, it was analyzing the he was basically pulling out of the Genjutsu naturally. He didn't know he was under the Genjutsu though. Sakura because she had trained her body to reject Genjutsu, and it was naturally doing so. Now, basically, what her name was. Now, as they both woke up at the same time, they saw it. The dead bodies of their friends. Kakashi, which once she felt, it felt cold and lifeless. Naruto, when she felt it, she saw the gigantic sword. No, she saw shards on his stomach, which she knew was from Zabuza's blade. But after everything went smoothly as they saw a dead, basically Gato on the bridge. They knew that they had to return since their job was done, but at a cost. Sasuke and Sakura returned to the village. As they returned to the village, they named the village the Grand Massacre Bridge because of the sight of the thousands of people who were dead in one of their saviors, Naruto. On both ends of the bridge were statues of Naruto and Kakashi. One with Kakashi going through hand signs, and one with Naruto with the plus sign hand sign. Like he was basically the plus symbol. Which, yeah, I don't know how y'all didn't notice that, but the Shadow-Clone Jutsu is basically just the plus sign. Anyway. As pretty much the statues were painted Naruto with glowing red eyes, as they had really toned him to a point where it seemed like his eyes were glowing. Kakashi with his Sharingan in one eye in the standard Jonin attire. And yeah. In Gato's base, Naruto smirked as he now stood in front of, as Kakashi stood in front of him with a smile on his face. Flashback. Well, no, I'm not gonna flashback that. Fuck. I wish I would flashback it, but I'm not. Anyway. Kakashi basically survived the battle with pretty much, they didn't go for any fatal wounds at all. Like, and if they did, they just healed them. They just healed them back pretty much. So yeah. So they are pretty much okay with Naruto resupplying Kakashi with chakra, which made him even more stronger. Placing him pretty much on a level different. We then see in the training field, Naruto disappeared, placing his hand on Kakashi's face as he then pulled back his leg, slamming him down with the most amount of force. As his head split apart, then it came back together as Kakashi, his body rebuilt right behind Naruto as he yelled out, "Fire style, grand fireball!" And then a fireball came out of Kakashi's mouth as it was hot like flames. Ice style! Ice arc! Both Hakura and Haku yelled out as two ice arcs appeared. They were around the size of the Hokage's building, so nothing too big compared to the arcs that I'd be fucking creating. If y'all don't know what an arc is, I'm gonna tell y'all. So, like, an arc, it's kind of like the diamond shape. Y'all know how some gems be diamonds? Look, no, not like a diamond shape, but it's a shape. I'm just saying. Pretty much. Arc is, no, I can't say. I ain't gonna tell y'all. I just don't know how to explain it. But yeah, as they sent out two ice arcs flying forward, as they then began to spin around from the wind jutsu that they were both using in perfect tangent, in perfect combination, as they spin together, as they crashed into each other, creating a layer of ice which was completely as sharp as knives. Now it's time for you to begin your training with me, Zabuza said with a smile on his face. And Haku then smiled. I'm stronger than you. Oh really? You wanna test that, brat? I do! Haku yelled out as he disappeared, kicking Zabuza in the stomach. As you had used 50%. As even though the way Zabuza told him he was like basically his tool, it had wore off because of Naruto and training and basically being around Naruto and Kakashi and all of them being together. Like, pretty much that wore that off real quick. As he kicked him in the stomach with 50%, Zabuza was shooketh. Even if he used his blade to block it, it was still powerful. You have gotten stronger, kid. You didn't see anything yet. Haku yelled out as then he disappeared as he slammed his hand on the ground as then ice began to protrude from the ground in a spear-like motion as it shot up, shooting through his body as it ringed him up faster as he was in the sky. would be painful if I didn't have this, he said with a smirk on his face. As he began to push more and more and more and more and more. As he basically had 40% of his chakra, his usable chakra, within his eyes. Then it shot out of his eye, breaking the ice spirits. He ripped it out. Then he broke a piece of the blade, shoving it into his stomach. As it then regrew, he had gotten better with the ability to the point where it didn't require a lot of strength. He also could now fuse with the executioner's blade. As he smiled, he then stabbed the blade into his chest as he disappeared. As he went into taijutsu stance. Then Haku quickly noticed that his fingertips, and it didn't look sharp, but it was cutting. It had so much cutting force that it was incredible. As Haku jumped back as he shot an basically a small sheet of ice in front of Zabuza to test if his theory was correct. Zabuza brought down his hand as it slid through perfectly. Damn, Haku said, as then he created an ice bow style as he spun it around, hitting Zabuza in the stomach. As he then disappeared, hitting him in the back, Zabuza flew forward, as then he smirked. They don't call me a demon for nothing. As basically, y'all know how, I don't know if it was showed in the show, but in Shinobi Striker, Zabuza has like this form where he has a gigantic demon head behind him, but it's kind of white and palish instead of the normal red. I don't remember that well. But as he turned around, now a full-on demon avatar was behind him. It was a result of his massive amount of bloodlust, which made people hallucinate. Die! Zabuza yelled out as he disappeared, chopping down. As Zabuza smirked, his bloodlust avatar began to slam down the executioner, began to throw down the executioner's blade. But unfortunately for Zabuza, Haku had gotten used to it, seeing as he was basically with him for like the longest. Jesus Christ. As he disappeared. This was also a sign that he was about to swing down his blade. As Haku then created ice armor and hit Zabuza on the side with the ice elbow. As then Zabuza smirked as the ice cracked and broke off. What? My body's as hard as a sword. Zabuza yelled out as he disappeared. As he was about to shove his hand into Haku until Naruto appeared, completely stopping his hand. You got too carried away there. As Naruto looked, you got too carried away, Zabuza. It almost seemed like I had to put you down. As Zabuza looked into Naruto's eyes, he deadass was in fear As he looked at Naruto, he felt this overwhelmingly chilling aura which could kill a man. As he saw behind him, he saw the devil with his red eyes glaring down at him like he was an ant. As he was almost shriveled up. As it was now getting hard for him to breathe under this immense bloodlust, which Naruto had controlled within a certain realm, which allowed him to give his opponents large amounts of bloodlust without affecting his friends. As Zabuza began to breathe and hyperventilate as he pulled back, holding on to his chest. As he breathed, he started to breathe harder. He began to breathe rapidly as Naruto then lifted the seemingly overwhelming amount of bloodlust as Zabuza dropped to the ground. From that day on, he now had a respect and fear for Naruto. Basically, yeah. We didn't skip basically that 3-year time skip. Like the unlike the Team 7 is assigned a random guinea. Or, what they call them? Hypocrisy. Quote, a random Jonin. Quote. Quotation mark. Random guinea. Quotation mark. Basically. As that guinea was one of Danzo's most elite Jonin. Like, this Jonin would be able to match Orochimaru in the taijutsu battle, but if it came to jutsu, he would just get stomped on. Because everyone gets stomped on when it comes to jutsu. Like Orochimaru, like, I want someone's body, but I need to learn a lot of jutsu to get that body I want, the perfect bod. So yeah, he needed a lot of jutsu to get that perfect body. So yeah, anyone would get clapped by Orochimaru in a dead ass ninjutsu battle, except Naruto, because he's fucking OP. That 3-year time skip. The Wave Country has been announced to be a ninja village because of the fact that Naruto has been training people and bandits have been frequently coming into the Wave Village and never leaving. More and more bandits come over there to deal with the problem, only to be converted into powerful shinobi. We see Zabuza Momochi in the middle of a field. I'm gonna be your Jonin trainer, Zabuza said. Whoever passes the class without dying becomes a Jonin. All those who die, just die, Zabuza said. We then see three, no, two random, well, not really random because they're not going to be fodder like the rest, who are just going to die. Ryu and Teiju, as they fought against Zabuza each. You're strong, but we're stronger, he said, and then he yelled out, lightning style, grand lightning bath, water style, grand water bath, he yelled out. Both of them, well, Ryu yelled out lightning style and Teiju yelled out water style, basically. As it was sent forward, as it got near Zabuza, Zabuza smirked as he slung down his blade, chopping this in half. What? Flashback. Around 2 years later, Naruto had gotten into basically the art of making weapons, and Zabuza had told him everything that he knew of how his weapon was created and the others. So Naruto was fooling around until he finally had found it, the way that the ninja swordsman's blades were created. So he started to create weapons, and after testing and testing it and doing all of this stuff, he got it must be dust. He gotten so much better at it to the point where he was basically like he could upgrade each and every one of the 7 ninja swordsman's weapons. Like he could even upgrade Sammy Hada. That's different levels of great. So he had upgraded the Executioner's blade. Now it had 3 abilities. First, it had chakra absorption similar to wartime Samehada, but it's not sinking it. And it had basically an ability called Double Strike. So once he attacks an opponent, if they are able to block or dodge it, basically a secondary multiple sword slices comes all over their body, depending on how fast they are to react towards it, because it basically is pretty much OP as shit. And the final ability, it's called Godspeed. With Godspeed, it once charging lightning chakra into the sword, it could buff the speed. It could instantly create lightning armor, such as the Lightning God armor and Godspeed. Like, y'all know Killua, who has Godspeed, and it basically gives him Godspeed. Anyway, as he smirked, as he charged a bit of lightning chakra into his blade, then he disappeared as he was about to swing down, as both of them looked at him with conviction in their eyes. We won't lose, they yelled out, even though Zabuza was leaking bloodlust like a madman. You pass, Zabuza said while stopping his blade. We pass? Yeah, you pass, Zabuza said, turning around. How did we pass? Conviction. Since you somehow got through my hellish training, you'll have to go through Raymond's training, then Kakashi's, then the boss. As then Zabuza walked away. The boss. Who's the boss? Ryu and Taejun said. Both are looking at each other, sweating heavily. If that guy was that scary, then the boss must be the most scary one. Seeing as that there were multiple levels. As they both looked in fear. But first, Zabuza said, as they could barely hear his voice, "Follow me," he yelled, as they began to follow him. Uzu Cage Office. Now, the reason why I call it the Uzu Cage Office is because at one point in time, Wave was actually a part of Uzugakure, which will lead to Naruto finding out about his basically clan, which will improve a lot more about him and his skills and such. But he set up the base pretty much in Wave. So yeah. Sorry, I'm eating ice cream right now. This is good. So, yeah. In the office, 3 people appeared in front of Naruto. So, this guy is the boss? Ryu said, as he looked at the man who seemed younger than Zabuza. Yeah. Don't let his age fool you. The guy's a monster. As a matter of fact, I can't even match him in strength. None of us can. Zabuza said, none of us. Ryu said, remembering, as he didn't remember the mention of 2 more people. We're called the 4 generals. Because each of us easily surpassed Kage level. Then comes him. The guy's practically a god. As Ryu and Taeju's eyes open wide. And that's going to be in this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and do all that bullcrap.